Let's talk about your clairs, your spiritual gifts, the way that you can interact with the world around you and the spiritual world, your higher self, and even divinity. Hey, I'm Latoya, your energy mastery coach, guide, and practitioner. This is one of my favorite topics because, as I've said in one of my short videos, I've never actually worked with a client that didn't have a past knowledge or an inner knowing or an intuition of what their clair was. Now, they may not be actively working with it. They may have denied it. They may have suppressed it. They may have been made to forget about it, but it has always been there. And then when it comes up in a session, Reiki session, energy mastery session, and we go back to and we uncover what it is, there's always a I knew it, a knowing, and then a past experience. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about clairvoyance. Okay, clairvoyance, or seeing more clearly, are people who experience the divine, they experience the spiritual, they experience life through seeing. They see between the lines. They see past what you're saying. They see past what you're presenting. These people have a heightened sense of seeing, right? Sometimes they see visions. These people may tend to daydream a lot more. These people may tend to dream more vividly, longer, more powerfully. They tend to remember them more. Their dreams sometimes are prophetic or bring a message or bring something that is a divine knowing about something that happened in the past or something that's happening right now with someone and they had no prior knowledge to. Clairvoyance is a way of experiencing these divine messages or prophetic messages or psychic messages through the sight. These people, sometimes they use visual language, like when they're talking and they want to relate to somebody, they say, oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, I see you, right? They use visual language a lot. They may not be using their clairvoyance in a spiritual state, but they see things that other people tend not to see. They're better at seeing details in the things that they're working with. They tend to love visual learning, and they learn better through visual aids. Sometimes in their childhood, they will have seen imaginary friends, or they saw the spirit world, or they saw deceased loved ones. These are people who are experiencing their clairvoyance. In my work, I have experienced that people who are clairvoyant, but their clairvoyance was shut down or ignored or denied, and so they are not using it. It's still coming, but they're not connected with it. Sometimes they experience headaches, they experience pressure, they experience things going on with their vision. And again, this is not a diagnosis. If you're experiencing those things, go see your doctor. But from my work in energy, I experienced that people who are clairvoyant and they are not using their clairvoyance, or they're not accepting of their clairvoyance, or they're not embracing their clairvoyance, or they feel stuck, they feel frustrated by the things that they see, they tend to sometimes experience these things in their bodies. So let me know in the comments, is this you? Do you think you are clairvoyant? Or do you know someone who probably is clairvoyant and they need to see this video? Or maybe you're this next one, which is clairaudience. Okay, clairaudience is about the hearing. So everything I just said about the vision, these people experience in the hearing. They tend to be more auditory learners. They repeat things a lot. They hear things that other people don't hear. Like even in the everyday, you'll hear that this person is always like, did you hear that? And nobody else heard it. Sometimes they hear the spirit world. If they are people who are connected to the divine, they will hear messages as opposed to see them. They tend to use more auditory language, like, oh, I hear that. I hear you. I hear you. When they're reading, they hear. Sometimes you're speaking and they tend to hear between the lines. Some clairaudience people, you'll be singing and they can hear a spiritual, choir behind. If they are connected to the spirit world, deceased loved members, they will hear the messages rather than see them. When they are connecting to themselves, higher consciousness, they hear the knowing and they hear the message. So same with visual in my work, people who are clairaudient but have not been connected to or made to suppress or deny that part of themselves, they also tend to experience issues with their hearing. That was me. I was experiencing some clairaudience when I was younger. And I think because of the suppression, I was experiencing some issues with my ear, particularly with wind when I was running, because the auditory is hypersensitive, right? So it's hypersensitive to sound and the things that affect sound. So is this you? Do you feel that you're clairaudient, or have you experienced clairaudience in your life or in your childhood? Drop a comment in below. I'd love to hear about it. Maybe you're the next one, which is clairsentient. Now, this is my domain. This is my primary language, okay? And so this might be you. Most people have a primary and a secondary, okay? But the truth is we all have access to all of them. And sometimes when there's an important message that wants to come through, one might be activated that's not your primary and you have no idea, but it's activated for the message. Anyway, clairsentience is my domain, so I'm super excited about this one. And I had no idea that I was clairsentient until I had my first 2 Reiki sessions and started to literally feel sensations in my body that was connected to what I was healing, what I was clearing, and the emotions that I needed to heal. So it's exactly that. Clairsentience is the touch, the sensitivity. People who consider themselves empathic, and they are very, very empathic, they are probably clairsentient. They feel other people's emotions. They feel other people's pain. They feel what other people are going through. And that person doesn't need to be around them. That person could be by a distance. It could be with deceased loved ones. It could be a message from the divine, a message from the spirit world, a message, a psychic message. And so this person will literally feel it physically in their body. They can feel shooting pain, they can feel vibrations, they can feel tingling. Now, again, advised, because vibrations and tingling, that could signify all kinds of things in the medical world. But as it pertains to energy, as it pertains to intuition, as it pertains to your spiritual gifting, clairsentience is a thing. So let me know. Are you someone who feels the vibrations, the tinglies, the pain in your body when you are picking up the energy or the emotion or something going on that is outside of your physical realm? Is this you? Are you clairsentient? Drop it in the chat. I want to see if you're my sister, you're my brother. Let's talk about it. So an example would be when I was doing a networking call with someone, I started feeling strong vibrations in my legs. And I said, I hope you're okay with me sharing this with you, but I'm clairsentient. And when I talk to people, sometimes my body reacts. And right now my body's reacting with my thighs and my legs. They're really vibrating. And she said, wow, that's crazy, because my legs have been experiencing pain for the past 2 weeks. And so I told her what that could mean, energetically, in her moving forward and what she was dealing with. So this is an example of clairsentience. Another example would be that I was with a client not too long ago, and when she expressed something towards the end of the call, like we're finishing the call, and she expressed something that was important to her, I could feel vibrations from here all the way up. But this time I could sense that something wasn't right, and she didn't know that she was clairvoyant. And so it's one of those cases where she was feeling a little bit frustrated by some of the things that she was experiencing clairvoyantly, and it was manifesting in headaches and things that was happening. So that's just another example of both the suppression of the gift and clairsentience. Okay, here is a difficult one, because this person doesn't necessarily see or hear or touch, and those are a little more tangible. This one is claircognizance. Okay, what does this mean? It means this person can get psychic messages, intuitive messages, messages from the divine or through deceased loved ones, just with a clear knowing. They don't necessarily see or feel or touch, they just know. My son's primary is claircognizance. He can see the person's name on the caller ID and get a clear knowing about that person, having never met that person before. So this is an interesting one, because you can't put anything on it, but you just know it. Some people will call it the sixth sense, they'll call it the gut feeling, they'll call it, intuition. And those things come in many, many different forms, but this claircognizance is just the clear knowing. And sometimes if this gift is denied or suppressed, this person can experience states of confusion, states of feeling in a fog, states of feeling depression, states of feeling anxious feelings, right? And so again, of course, go and get these things checked out. And if there's no, even if there's a medical definition or explanation, it could be that you are not giving expression to your spiritual gift. Okay, are you claircognizant? Let me know in the chat. Let me know if you know someone who's claircognizant and maybe they need to see this video. Okay, let's talk about two that are less talked about, not as popular, but definitely are real things. There's Clairgustance and then there's Clairolfactory. So Clairgustance is the taste, right? And so these people, they have a heightened sense of taste. They can taste things in food that other people can't taste. It's almost like a musician, but with taste. They can taste a meal and then pick up all the different scents and flavors and tastes within the meal. But it's a spiritual gifting in that they can literally get psychic messages, intuitive messages from the divine or from the spiritual world through taste. I experienced this one time. Now, it's not my primary gift, but when I was doing some ancestral work with a client, I could literally taste and smell, which would be the Clairolfactory, butter. And it was because her ancestors who used to bake around her all the time were coming in to relate a message. Beautiful gift. So Clairolfactory is the sense of smell. These people are like the human hound dogs. They can smell anything. You will be around them and they'll be like, what is that? And no one else can smell it. And these people can do so for spiritual messages and in the spiritual realm and with spiritual connection also. I know it sounds weird, right? But it is a real thing. My husband is Clairolfaction, and I just met someone who is also Clairolfaction. This is a real thing. So you may be experiencing this and not understanding why your senses are so heightened. Maybe you're Clairgustance, maybe you're Clairolfactory. So this is super exciting. If you are, drop it in the comment. I would love to know. I would love to have, that chat going on. Who's Clairgustance? Who's Clairolfactory? And how have you been experiencing this? Okay, what to do if you feel like this is your spiritual gift? Well, first, because I was doing this video, I created a guide and a checklist. So it's free. It's in the description. Go ahead and pick it up, and you might share it with somebody because it's fun to do with people. Then it's fun to talk about your spiritual gifts and how you've been experiencing and how you now have an inner knowing, and talk about some of the experiences that you've had even from childhood. So pick up the guide and the checklist down below. It's in the description. But definitely, one, identify and acknowledge that you have this gift. Maybe it was denied, maybe it was suppressed, maybe it was laughed at, maybe it was, said that it was nothing by family or cultural society. You get to accept this part of you. You get to know that this is in fact part of your unique design. It's part of your magic. It's part of your intuition. And it's probably a part of your wealth consciousness and your divine infinite potentiality. Who knows where this gift could go when you fully embrace and accept it? Number two, identify some of the blocks and the suppressions that may have happened. Because the more you identify the blocks and the suppression, is the more you get to accept and uncover and discover the beauty and the magic of the gift that is. Okay, number three, tap through it. I love tapping to clear some of the blocks, to clear some of the suppression. Tap it out of the body. Tap where you were made to deny, where you were made to think that it wasn't a thing, maybe where you were made to think that you were lying or that you were making things up. So tap through some of those things so that you can clear it out of your energy body, and then you can clear the way for it to come forward even the more powerful. Number four, find a support circle. I'm creating one right now that you will get to join. So find a support circle that allows you to operate in the fullness of who you are. And number five, celebrate it. Celebrate it more and more and more and more, because the more you love it, the more you celebrate it, the more you enjoy it, is the more powerful it will become, not only for you, but for all the people that you're meant to serve. Okay, don't forget to let me know in the comments which one is you, and don't forget to pick up the free guide in the checklist below. I'll see you in the next video, and elevate.